And that's one thing that I will give you an upfront warning about my channel. This is not Food Network cooking channel, so I can't always guarantee how it's going to turn out, but that's the fun part about it. Wow, I'm going to ChatGPT more than I'm going to God about it. Told my testimony of just, becoming a godparent on my fertility journey of waiting to have children of my own. And so I was telling the women in this online group that I'm a part of, and one of them was saying like, oh, you're so blessed, for that opportunity. And it's almost like God is giving you a free trial at motherhood. Hi, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Felicia, and on my channel, I document my journey through life as a Christian wife, homemaker, seasoned entrepreneur, and a future mom. And in today's video, I will be making a peach cobbler ice cream. I've made it before, but not in this way. I made the no churn version before, and this time I want to try my ice cream maker. And I just want you to just come hang out with me as if you're just here in my kitchen. And while the food is in the oven, or usually when I have downtime, I'll just take a moment to just sit down, have some tea, and to chat with you. So I look forward to spending time with you today. So if I'm being honest, today I came up with what I was going to make at the last minute. Recently, my husband and I became godparents, and our goddaughter, she's almost 2 months. She's been spending a lot more time with us lately. And so she was over last night. So I wanted to just plan something that was really quick, just in case I was tired and didn't get a lot of sleep. But actually she slept pretty good, and we were able to get a decent amount of sleep, but I didn't want to overdo it. So ice cream it is today. So for the ice cream base, it's really simple. It's just 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of heavy cream, a little vanilla, a pinch of salt, and sugar. What's that? And then the same thing with the heavy whipping cream. I like to use the cream top as well. And same thing, I don't like to see the chunks, but so it's 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I've just really been enjoying being a godmother lately. I've always wanted to be one, and I used to always say like, how come nobody asked me to be their child's godmother? And I think when you're younger, like in high school, like your best friend or someone, you always say like, oh, you're going to be my child's godparent. But I think it means something a lot different to me now than it did back then. Back then, it was just, I don't know, like something like you felt like you were supposed to do for like your close friends. But now, I don't know, it just feels like more of an honor. I take it a lot more serious of just making sure that I'm praying for my goddaughter and just doing everything that I can to give her the best life possible, and to partner with her parents and to be a part of her village. So I take that job very seriously, and just, it's really nice. And even I had told my testimony of just, becoming a godparent on my fertility journey of waiting to have children of my own. And so I was telling the women in this online group that I'm a part of, and one of them was saying like, oh, you're so blessed, for that opportunity. And it's almost like God is giving you a free trial at motherhood. And I thought that was funny, but it also really resonated too, and that how blessed I am to be able to have this experience and to be able to work with my husband, and for both of us to, work together as basically parents, and to get that experience in before it's a full-time thing for us. So definitely grateful to God for that opportunity. But I'm really thankful to her parents for allowing us to be a part of her village, and to be able to just help her in her journey through life. So I'm really excited for that. And I also feel like it taught me just how important it is to, to put action behind your faith. So a while back, like in one of my first YouTube videos, I had assembled this box that I had got from Amazon. This is just some cinnamon as well. And I had purchased a few baby items, like just to, as a show of my faith of like, I'm really believing, in God for a child. And so I bought the box and I assembled it, and I had started to purchase some different items for the box. I had got like some little clothes. I got little like glass bottle, a pacifier, just like a few baby items. And I had just had it in my closet for a while. And then fast forward to when they asked us to be her godparents and her just spending a lot of time with us. Like, I've already gone through half the box using the different things, whether like she just needed an extra pair of pants, or even if I didn't have like a clean bottle, and I just went in there and got the bottle. So it was just funny to me how I even had to use those things before I thought. So I think it also was a lesson in just, being prepared and staying ready for what you're asking God for. So I thought that was really cool. So now I have to refill a lot of the things that are in the box, but it's just really cool to see how God moves and how he works in our lives, even when we don't, when it seems like he's silent, he's always working. So I'm just going to put this in the refrigerator so that I can continue to chill while I work on the pie crust and while I work on the peach filling, because you want this to be really cold and all of your items to be cold when you are making ice cream. So we have the ice cream base in the freezer. That's all done. And then now we're going to move on to making the crust. I have my oven preheated to 350. I feel like it's always 350, 375. So that's preheated. I'm going to make the crust, put that in the oven, and then we'll move on to the filling after that. I don't know what it is about measuring cups, but I always lose a couple. I don't have one full set. I have like 3 partial sets. So it's definitely on my wish list is to pick up more measuring cups. So we have half a cup and 2 tablespoons of flour. So I have 1 and 2. We have a tablespoon of sugar. Quarter teaspoon of salt. I don't feel like measuring, so I'm gonna wing it. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but we'll see. So now we're gonna cut in the butter and butter flavored shortening. So we have 2 tablespoons of both. Get a real knife. So 2 of that. And ideally it should be really cold. I did have it sitting out so that I was semi-prepared, but it should be okay. And that's one thing that I will give you an upfront warning about my channel. This is not a Food Network cooking channel, so I can't always guarantee how it's going to turn out, but that's the fun part about it. I always wondered that about cooking shows, like how many times do they make it and it doesn't come out right? Or in my case, like I don't have another dish that's like that I already made of the same thing. So we are 100% winging it, trial and error. So we'll see. So now we're going to finish up the crust. Just add the cold water in. Oh, now I'm making a mess. Just 1 to 2 tablespoons. So let's see. My hands are just always easier. messier, but easier at the same time. All right, we have a crust. I'm gonna try to make a peach cobbler from scratch with the dough. I've only made the ice cream with just the pieces, but not like a big dish. Usually my mother-in-law makes a peach cobbler, so I have to make sure that I practice before I try to whip mine out at the family event. Like that one, I would maybe try. Her mac and cheese, I'm not even gonna try to pull that one off. She makes the absolute best macaroni and cheese. I think we're almost there. Don't want to overdo it. I ran out of plastic wrap, so we are going to try a sandwich bag. I don't see why it wouldn't work. So now that I finished the pie crust, I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. And while we wait, I just want to take you guys to the backyard and have a nice chat. It is a beautiful day. The weather is really nice. And I also just started a garden. So what better time to show you guys that? So I'm gonna put this up and then I will meet you guys in the back. Welcome to my backyard. I wanted to switch things up a bit and talk to you guys outside. Like I said, it's a really nice day outside. Although it's hot, it doesn't really matter whether it is hot or cold outside. I always want a cup of tea. It's just something that's very soothing for me, very relaxing, even when I go to restaurants to have a cup of tea. So today the tea that I'm drinking is a Tulsi Sweet Rose. Usually I'll mix in collagen powder, but today is just plain. I've been listening to a lot of different sermons online. I don't really watch TV a lot, but I like to watch YouTube. And I've noticed that like recurring theme of the things that I watch of them just talking about making different things idols in your life and really evaluating what you could be making an idol. So I always kind of think about it. And I think when you hear idols, you just typically think of, I don't know, when I think of the Bible, it's like worshiping false gods or things like that. But it can really be something as simple as making your phone an idol or making social media an idol. So I've really been trying to evaluate my life and see things that, like I said, I've been making an idol and what I can work on. So two main things. The first one is my phone. I do have a really, really bad habit of scrolling my emails and got to the point where I had to delete the email app off of my phone. And I get a decent amount of emails between like my business and personal emails, but not even a lot to justify me checking it as much as I was. And so I deleted the app off of my phone. Now I'll just go on like the Safari app on the phone and same thing. I'll just go to Gmail and constantly scroll and check my email. So it's taking time away from my day. That's time that I could be spending doing my devotion or doing meal preps or in prayer or different things. So that's one area that I do want to work on, but started to notice that no matter what it was, I would immediately run to ChatGPT. So it could be, I finally got my blood work in and I got my lab results and I would screenshot it and I'll put it in ChatGPT and I'll ask for an explanation of like what this means or what supplements I could take or even just tracking my basal body temperature. I would every morning take a screenshot of the app and then I would put it in ChatGPT to say like, well, what does this mean? Or where, do you see a change or where am I at with this? But I started to feel really convicted about it. And I felt like, wow, I'm going to ChatGPT more than I'm going to God about it. And that was an issue for me. Why is it that when I find a new supplement, I immediately go to ChatGPT to ask, about it or how it works or what I should take, but I'm not consulting with Christ about it? I'm not asking, hey, is this something that, Lord, is this something that you want for me? Do you want me to take this supplement? Should I should I go to this new doctor? Should I consider taking these new labs? Like I was just kind of doing things in my own strength with me and ChatGPT. And I know that that's not what God would want for me. That's not, what he calls us to do. He calls us to lean on him and to trust in him in everything that we do. So let me know in the comments if that is something that you are working on as well. Maybe it's something that we can work on together. If this resonates with you, to subscribe and to join me on this journey and me on your journey. I really believe in community and doing things together, not being alone. I think for a considerable amount of time, especially when starting my business, I just kind of stayed in and I stayed focused on that. And I didn't really prioritize friendships as much and community. And that's something that I'm really big on now. So I would love to be a part of your community and you mine. And that's all for today. I'm going to head back into the kitchen and finish up the peach cobbler ice cream. Fingers crossed that everything turned out well, but thank you for joining me and I will see you back in the kitchen. That was a nice tea session. I always really enjoy just sitting down over a cup of hot tea and just talking with my friends about everything that's going on in our lives, everything that's going on in the world. So that's always something that I really enjoy. So now that our pie crust is out of the refrigerator, we're going to roll it out and then we'll just add some cinnamon sugar to it so that it has that like peach cobbler taste. And then we'll put that in the oven. So I just talked about how I'm trying to get better about not checking my emails on my phone. The first thing that I do when I get back from outside, right before I walked back in, was check my email. So I'm a work in progress. All right, we're gonna go with that. So now we are adding some butter on the top so that we can add cinnamon sugar. And then we'll be folding it, like add the sugar, fold it, roll it back out so that we can have that flavor all throughout the layers. And this is my cinnamon sugar. Sprinkle that. And I forgot to mention that this recipe is from Divas Can Cook. It is one of my all-time favorite cooking blogs. And she also has a YouTube channel, Instagram, all of that I'll make sure that I link below. But I've been using her recipes since college and her recipes never fail me. I would say that her recipes really have helped give me a lot more confidence in the kitchen. I've never been terrible in the kitchen, but I kind of struggle with like knowing how to season things. And I feel like her recipes really helped me with that. So like I would follow them, but in doing that, I would realize, okay, well, when I make meats, it's good to use these kind of seasonings. Or when I bake, it's typically these things, or these are some different tips and tricks that I can use. So I'm really grateful for, I think her name is Monique. And we're just gonna cut it into 1-inch pieces or close to that. Again, it doesn't have to be exact, but probably should have doubled the crust because that is my favorite part of peach cobbler. I can do without the peaches, honestly. I don't really like hot fruit, but for the ice cream, I think it would be good. I just like crust and juice. Same thing with like apple pie or again, any sort of hot fruit. I just can't do it. I might eat like one or two little pieces with the crust just to get the flavor, but I'm not a huge fan. All right, so we're gonna put this in the oven. It says for 15 to 20 minutes. I've noticed that my oven usually it's on the lower side, so I'll aim for 15. So similar to a peach cobbler filling where you have the butter, the peaches, a little bit of nutmeg, cinnamon, sugar, and I like to add vanilla. Actually, 2.5 cups. So a tablespoon of brown sugar. I'll pack it because get all the flavor. 1, and then she's a tablespoon of white and 1/4 of cinnamon, but just going to use the cinnamon sugar. So now for my favorite part, the ice cream. So I always keep I don't even call this like the main ice cream attachment piece in the freezer because usually it has to chill for like 6-8 hours overnight. So I just always keep it in there so that anytime I want to make ice cream, everything is already set for that. All right, we are finally getting to the end. So typically with homemade ice cream, if you wanted to have that similar like store-bought consistency, you want to let it freeze overnight. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to assemble some in a cup. So it'll be a little soft, but still the flavor there. And then after that, I'm going to just put it in the freezer overnight. And yeah, that's it. So just do a couple pieces of crust at the bottom, a little scoop of the filling. And then do some of ice cream. Come off. It tastes just like peach cobbler with a scoop of ice cream on it. And usually I make, like I said, the no churn where you use a sweetened condensed milk with the like heavy whipping cream, but kind of like this one better. It just tastes more like ice cream. But I'm going to devour the rest of this. Again, as always, thank you for taking the time to join me in my kitchen and in my home. I hope that at least some of this resonated with you, and I would love to just invite you to subscribe and to join me on this journey. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. It completely slipped my mind to show you guys how I store it. Like that's one of the most important parts. So I use this, I think it's Tovolo ice cream container. Got it from Amazon. And it freezes really well. It doesn't have a lot of ice crystals in it, which is usually what I don't like about homemade ice cream. So we'll just, all of that looks so good. bottom. But I think you should get the gist of it. Just this. Add in the toppings as much or as little as you like, swirl it around, throw it in the freezer, and you're done. So for real this time, until next time, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.